Welcome back to On the Road with Flora and Note, a podcast where we share our travel stories, personal insights, and candid conversations while on the road.
And today we're in Zagreb, Croatia. This is our first time here. We took a bus. It was like a 3 hours bus from Ljubljana.
From Ljubljana, yeah.
All the way to Croatia.
It's so easy because we honestly thought that when you cross countries, you need to go to like a border or something. Like, you know, you got to get your passport stamped, but we forget about that. Like, we're in the EU and you can just keep going. You don't even have to get off the bus. The bus doesn't stop.
So we're a bit disappointed that we didn't get new stamps on our passport.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was so smooth to get to Croatia. And we will be sharing some more videos of Croatia as part of our Europe series on our main channel, Flora and Note. And just a quick reminder, if you prefer to listen to our podcast instead of watch the podcast, we are also on Spotify Podcasts and Apple Podcasts.
So today we have an interesting topic to talk about.
It wasn't our original plan to talk about this, but recently, what was it, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
So this is like April 15th. We both saw this video online where a Thai park ranger basically escorted a foreign tourist back to the mainland after he made some disrespectful remarks. And we
watch it and we're like, we can totally relate to this because it happened to us many times while we travel. So what happened in the video was the tourist boat broke down and the park rangers went to help. And then as he approached the boat, the man said to the park ranger, "Ni hao." But "ni hao" is a greeting in Chinese.
That's hello.
Yeah. It means hello, but he said that to a Thai park ranger in Thailand. And the ranger got really upset because he considered that a racist remark. And yeah, they had some kind of argument.
But not like right away. It didn't escalate to that because, I mean, this park ranger is like a well-educated guy. He is just doing his job. He's very respectful to the people, the tourists, the environment.
Well-loved among Thai people too. He's known as the Aquaman of Thailand.
Yeah, and he did probably just give off some sort of like a warning or some sort of, you know, education to this person saying that you're here in Thailand, that's not what we say. But I think somehow the situation escalated because you said there was like smirking involved, like, and
the tourists didn't take it seriously. So the park ranger got upset. And at the end, ordered them to leave the island.
So your vacation is over. Like, you know, it's not fun and games anymore. And he actually posted on his Instagram. He's also big on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, he has like over 150,000 followers.
I actually followed him before this because I always thought it was really interesting for him to be like educating people on how to protect the marine
life in southern Thailand.
Yeah, so I followed him before that because I was like, oh, this guy's amazing. He just filmed videos of him telling tourists, like, don't pick up the shells, don't do this in the water because this will hurt the marines. But yeah, we saw this post and he posted about the situation like 2 days ago, and he said, something as small as saying ni hao to a Thai person, it's not only disrespectful to Thais, but to Asians, as Asia is not one nationality. It would be like me going to England and thinking it was the same as Russia. So
that post has over 5 million views.
Yeah.
So it really sparked a conversation.
It sparked a conversation between us because as you started reading more reactions from Thai people and saying how they are really supportive of what he did. And I initially, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, that seems harsh. I said,
it's a bit too much, you
to
said.
send someone back. They came all the way to Thailand for a vacation, and it was rude of him to do that, but it seemed harsh. But then the more like we
look
started
into this situation and reflecting on
our own experiences, we just felt this was an interesting topic we want to discuss further because I think it can relate no matter kind of what nationality you are.
or ethnicity where you are.
Yeah, and ethnicity and through travel, because travel, you're always interacting with people from a different culture, a different country.
It's interesting because it happened to us literally last week.
Yeah.
Last week we were cycling
In Lucca,
in Italy.
Tuscany.
2 weeks ago, not last week. And a young man just walked past us and said, "Ni hao," and laughed and walked away. And then our reaction was just laughing back. And then just like, oh, he said "ni hao" to us.
Because we feel different, of course. Like, I'm actually Chinese, but even Mandarin is not my first language. So if you were to ask me my mother tongue, it's Cantonese, which is not ni hao, right?
Yeah.
Should I feel less offended because I am Chinese and he kind of got it right that I'm Chinese?
But I feel more offended because I'm Thai and I don't speak Chinese. So for me, I feel like I'm not sure if there's racism or it's just education or
cultural ignorance.
Yeah.
Like they're not aware of the different cultures.
But for me, that's also an excuse because in today's age, you have access to internet, you have access to knowledge anywhere, just right on your fingertip.
We were saying to each other that a very universal way of saying hello is
to greet someone is just say hello or hi. Like if you're not sure where that person is from, it's easy to just say hi, hello, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I even looked into the definition of racism because somehow that word is so strong. It's discrimination, right, against people. So I was not very comfortable saying, oh, what he did was racism because I feel like it makes everything seem so serious. But racism, the definition is you feel that your race is more superior than someone else. So I think sometimes that smirking and laughing gives people the feeling of
you can do
I'm
and
better.
say whatever you want because you are more superior.
But cultural ignorance is people unaware, the lack of knowledge of the other cultures. So they make a mistake sometimes. It might not be as intentional. I think racism is more intentional. And then I think you just plain out have some people who are rude or they just made a mistake, I guess.
Like honestly, it happened to us so many times and we had a conversation about people saying ni hao to us way before this video came out.
I think that's why it stuck with us because we're like, wow, like this guy did something about it versus we usually laugh it off and we don't do something about it. And it makes me feel like, should we say something? Is that the better way to handle the situation?
But I think it's because it happened to us too often that we kind of like just brush it off now. Of course, it made us feel so uncomfortable when people just say ni hao to us.
I just don't know how to react sometimes.
Personally, I don't like it. But I don't, it's not like I hate it that much that I would scold the person. You know what I mean?
But you do, honestly, most of the time, if you have the opportunity, you do say that I'm from Thailand.
Yeah.
And that person will sometimes go, oh,
Taiwan! No. I was in Taiwan. No, it happened many times.
It does. But like a more positive thing is some people will be like, oh, sawadee ka to you.
Yeah.
I think maybe sometimes I don't know how to react to the situation is because I'm in a foreign place. Like I'm not in my own like homeland, my own country. So it's like if I'm in Croatia and they say ni hao to me, I don't want to react strongly. I don't want to say something because I want to be safe, right? I don't want to stir up any problems abroad. The park ranger, he educated the tourists in Thailand, in his own homeland. It felt like, you know, you just have like more confidence to say it.
You think so?
This is just me.
Well, because it happened to us in Thailand quite often too.
If we're in Thailand, then I would most likely be more comfortable saying like, oh no, he's Thai.
Maybe after that, after you have seen this video. But it happened to us many times in Thailand. In Koh Tao, for example, when we went to do diving instruction. Remember? There was a guy in the pool and the first time he said to you, he's like, Ni hao.
Oh, yeah.
You obviously didn't say anything.
But that's my personal struggle.
Yeah, you don't like confrontation.
Because he's right, I am Chinese, you know? But I felt uncomfortable at the same time. I don't know. Like,
but you said ni hao to both of us, right?
True. So I guess I wait
in
for
Thailand.
I wait for you to respond more than I personally respond to it. Because, I don't know how to confront people in that situation. I do have like one situation I do remember quite clearly that I felt uncomfortable was actually in Samui. There was a guy who came over by bike and stopped to chat with us. He was interested in our car, like Rocket, our car. Right away, when he walked over, he started speaking Mandarin. And then he's like, 你是中国人? Like he's like, are you Chinese? And then I said, I'm Chinese. I said, but I'm from Hong Kong. And I responded in English. But he kept speaking Mandarin back. And he's a foreigner. Like he's a probably North American or European, Caucasian. And I remember trying to switch the conversation to English because it's a common language between me and you and him.
Yeah, I was there.
You were standing there. But he kept speaking in Mandarin. And I did tell him like over and over again that like my mother tongue is Cantonese. And I said it in English. And I said my Mandarin isn't like that strong.
You said you grew up in Canada.
Yeah, I said we're from Canada, but he kept speaking in Mandarin. And I think partly he was maybe excited to practice his Mandarin after he hasn't been speaking it for a while because he used to live in China or whatever. But I just stood there when he kept talking and I felt uncomfortable and almost had this feeling of I refuse to respond to you in Chinese. Because I feel like now you're pushing it and making me feel uncomfortable and it's rude to both me and to you. I don't know. For me, that was a weird situation. I don't think he is racist. He's probably culturally aware already because we told him. So I think it's just him.
But sometimes people
being rude.
This one is tough to say. You know, like sometimes people are not aware that they are offending someone else. For them, it might be, oh, I'm just showing off my language skills.
Yeah, he was too absorbed in what he's doing. That kind of gets into the bigger question is, no matter what you're doing, you don't want to make someone uncomfortable, whether your intention is racism, cultural ignorance, or it's a mistake or whatever. Like the intention of a conversation with another human being, especially from different cultures, is to not make someone uncomfortable.
And also to not make assumption. You do not assume certain people belong to a certain group, speak certain language right away. You know, the best way to do is have a conversation and ask politely and be polite and be aware.
As we travel to more countries, that's the thing is you realize you don't really know what a certain country, what the people look like.
Because the world is so diverse now, you know?
Like when we went to Kazakhstan, when we went to Kyrgyzstan, I wouldn't be able to place where the people that I saw were from if I saw them in another setting, like in Canada. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, oh, this guy is obviously from Kazakhstan. It's so hard to place these things. And in Europe as well, people migrate to different countries. Like we were in the small town of Piran in Slovenia, but the server serving us, she is actually German because she came over to work. And the other girl that was talking to us was Italian. So it's like you cannot assume and just like be like, oh, I know what certain country people look like. Like, no, as we travel more, we realize you really don't.
Yeah, I think as the travelers, you have the responsibility to educate yourself before you visit any countries, because you're a guest to that country. If I want to visit Thailand, the easiest thing for me is to learn how to greet Thai people in Thai, how to say hello, how to say thank you. And for that guy to say ni hao
It's worse
to
than
a
just
park ranger,
Yeah.
there is really no excuse that he cannot be like, oh, I didn't know that you cannot do this.
saying hello is better than not saying it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously you have access to internet. You bought your tickets, you booked your vacation to Thailand, and you know people of Thailand is called Thai and they speak Thai. When I was young, you see people making Asian jokes all the time on TV, movies, you know. So maybe
It's like,
they see it as like a joke and it's normal to do.
That's the scary part, when it becomes a cultural norm to be able to be like, oh, just say ni hao to these people. Yeah, you reminded me of a situation I totally forgot. Is like when we were first dating in Australia where we met. And you said there was a group of like young guys who jumped in front of us, and then
You just go, ah!
like
Pull their eyes back like that to imitate Asian people, yeah.
Yeah, and I completely...
You were scared. You were just in shock. I was scared too, but then luckily there was a security guard of a club nearby, kind of like shushed them away, like leave them alone, so something like that.
Yeah, I completely
blocked that out.
I forgot about the situation at all. But yeah, I imagine I would have been scared if that happened.
Now that's racism.
Yeah.
That's not cultural ignorance.
Yeah, because they could have thought that, oh, look, those are Chinese people. Then that's like cultural ignorance. But for him to jump up and scare us and think it's okay, I agree. I think that is racism.
Yeah, I remember one time I went to eat Vietnamese food in Calgary, and as I leave the restaurant, there was a homeless guy waiting outside, demanding money from me. And I didn't have any money, so I kind of just ignored him. And then he started yelling, like shouting at me. It's like, you are in my country, you have to pay me. I didn't confront him, I just laughed. I was like, there's no point, like engaging with this kind of people.
Was it when you first moved to
that was the first year or two in Canada that I experienced that.
I think that opens up like a whole can of worms regarding racism for immigrants. Like that's another like very
conversation.
Yeah, it's like so much bigger. Like what we're saying now is just the travel bits, like we're just here for 3 days. Like, why do we have to experience this? I agree with what you said before, is that you have information online everywhere for you to be more culturally aware. And I think we're a good example of that. Whenever we travel to a new place, we always take the time to learn a couple of phrases. We always do some research about like what should you do, what should you not, like the etiquette of being a good traveler in a country. And when we engage with local people, like we try to be as respectful.
You even take it an extra step, learning how to pronounce things correctly. Like we listen to YouTube of how they say certain words, although there are sometimes we can't really pronounce them, and we feel bad about it.
Recently, even in that video where we ate around Rome, we went to Trastevere. We listened for so long trying to pronounce this. And when a local person who listened to us and said, you're good, don't worry, I felt so relieved. But then when I saw a comment come in saying that you still said it wrong.
You're making fun of Italian. But that's not our intention, we try.
Yeah, so it kind of hurt a little bit, seeing that. But I understand that we can try our best, but we still might not be saying it correctly. But it's the intention, I think, is like we want to be saying it correctly. We want to be polite to the people, respectful to the people. And that is a great first step to becoming a tourist or a traveler in a foreign country. Like, I think this video came at a timely period of our travels where it gave us the space to discuss our previous experience, and maybe in the future we should say something. We should just politely say like, we're from Thailand, or say hello back. Even if they say ni hao, I feel like maybe I can just say hello back. I don't have to say ni hao back, because that's not how I usually greet people.
we never say ni hao back.
No, I have. I have. I think because I have that feeling when I'm like, I think you're right, I'm Chinese. But then naturally, that is not what I say. So I think that's my learning is don't give into that, because it may not be super hurtful to me or really cause any harm to me, but it may be encouraging people to continue that sort of attitude, and you don't know who they're going to say it next and affect. And
so thank you to the park ranger for posting that video and made us have this conversation. It's a learning curve, and it's something that will probably stick with us for a while. And as we grow, we will learn how to deal with this type of situation better. Thanks again for watching, and if you are new to our podcast, make sure to subscribe, and as always, we'll see you on the road.
bye.
Bye-bye.